Don't trust your ears. Hi everyone, Leo Notenboom here for askleo.com. If you're interested in topics like this, fixes, tips, tricks, and more for Windows or the internet, visit askleo.com/newsletter to sign up for my weekly newsletter. So, this one, honestly, when I did this, it amazed the heck out of me. And it's actually very simple. I'm going to be referencing the companion article for this where you can actually play the audio that I'm about to play for you again on your own, and you can see exactly what's going on. But the bottom line here is that voice synthesis has made some amazing strides. Let's have a quick look. So this is a section out of the companion article for this video. I generated some audio that I want you to listen to, and I'm going to play it right now. If you watch the video accompanying this article below, or in fact have watched any of my videos or listened to me on any podcast, you'll have a sense for what I sound like. What's important to understand about this particular piece of audio is that I never spoke it. Given that you're watching this video and listening to this audio, I assume that my voice side by side with this recording should give you an idea of just how good it is. Now, granted, the original recording was made on a different day and my throat was probably in a little bit different condition, whatever. But the bottom line here is that that voice synthesis is amazingly accurate. It isn't perfect, but my guess is that if I were to not tell you that we're talking about voice synthesis, you might not even have recognized that as not necessarily being me. Like I say in the article, it's pretty darn spooky. I want to start a second example. Here we go. Password managers, essential tools for today's digital landscape. Leo Notenboom here, and I'm here to emphasize the importance of these handy tools in our ever-connected world. With the internet continuously growing and the number of online accounts multiplying, it's become nearly impossible to remember complex, unique passwords for each service. Okay, so that's just the start of that. Again, you can listen to the entire thing if you really want to over on the companion article site for this video. But what's interesting about this is that not only did I not say any of that, I didn't even write any of that. That's the combination of ChatGPT responding to a prompt to generate 100 words on the importance of password managers in the style of Leo Notenboom, then pasting its result into the speech synthesis site and capturing the output. Not only did I not speak it, I never said it. Now, in this case, the audio, if you listen carefully, to me at any rate, I can tell it's not me. The pacing is a little off. The inflections are a little off. I tend to be a little bit more animated when I'm doing this stuff than that audio would show. It also uses a couple of words that I honestly never ever use. But the bottom line is, once again, if you're not listening for it, if you're not careful, if you're not paying attention, it could theoretically pass for me. Now, one of the things that's interesting is that it is both cheap and easy, and I'm going to show you doing this in real time in just a second. But it is so cheap and easy that not only can anyone do it, but anyone can do it with anyone else's voice. If you've got a recording of someone, then you can take that recording, feed it to this generator, and it will use that as its model for you to then allow that voice to say anything you would want it to say. Yep, you have to promise that you have the rights to the voice. And I'm not going to talk about legalities here because clearly if you wanted to abuse this service, you're going to say yes, even though you mean no. But the bottom line here is that this opens a huge Pandora's box for voice impersonation. For example, the scenario that I thought of when I saw this and I heard this is the classic travel scam. What happens is that a scammer will call someone claiming to be their daughter or their son or their granddaughter or their grandson, Stuck in a foreign country. I've lost my password and I need some money. Grandpa, could you please wire it to this address? Those are scams that, honestly, they're successful often enough now, even though the voice may or may not match the person's actual grandson or granddaughter. However, now, if a scammer is able to get a recording from anybody speaking, they could actually sound like that person's actual granddaughter or grandson. That, to me, is scary. And what it means is you and I need to continue to be exceptionally skeptical, even if we think we recognize the voice. Recognizing the voice is no longer enough to authenticate who it is you're talking to. And this turns out to be quite literal. There are banks that for online voice transactions, for telephone transactions, will use your voice as your password. There's actually a phrase when you set this up, you read the phrase a couple of times, they save your voice print so that when you call later, all you need to do is repeat that phrase and they recognize you as you. I sincerely hope they're no longer doing that or stopping it very soon, because I know of at least one security researcher who did exactly this. He set up a model based on recordings of his own voice, used that model to generate the phrase, and used his recording of that phrase to authenticate with his bank, and it worked even though he literally never spoke the phrase. So how easy is this? Well, let's have a look. So we are over here at 11 Labs. That's the name of the company that does this. It is a paid service, but it's not terribly expensive. And I'm going to just sort of dream up something for it to say. For example, okay, so here's some self-promotional words, right? Askleo is a great service to use to get your questions answered. Sign up for the Askleo newsletter at askleo.com/newsletter. Let's see what that sounds like. Askleo is a great service to use to get your questions answered. Sign up for the Askleo newsletter at askleo.com/newsletter. Not bad. Not bad at all. But more interestingly is what it took to generate this. One, all I really had to do, I generated my own voice here, clone/Leo. I did that by uploading 5 minutes of me speaking. Well, there's plenty of 5 minutes of me speaking out there where you just grab a podcast or a video or whatever. It used that to analyze and generate or create a model for my voice. I then just typed in what you see here and I hit generate. And the generate didn't take very long. It was pretty darned quick. And in fact, it is so quick that a scammer could use this in real time to respond to someone that they were attempting to scam. For example, here's a phrase that a scammer might use. Yes, I really am your grandson. Don't you recognize my voice? Could be. Again, this is incredibly fascinating technology. And I know that I'm presenting a slightly negative aspect of this, of the way it can be abused, because I really want you to start to become skeptical whenever you're hearing things that don't necessarily quite make sense, but they sound like someone you know. It's possible now very easily to fake someone's voice. Now, on the other hand, there are some incredibly strong or wonderful potentials for this to be used for good. For example, imagine Stephen Hawking if he could actually have spoken with his real voice, even though he could not speak. Recordings taken of him earlier, years before his voice disappeared, could have been used to generate a model like this for him to speak naturally. Another great example is the film critic, the late film critic Roger Ebert. He lost his voice to throat cancer, cancer of some sort. And I recall many years ago, Apple actually went through great lengths to generate a text-to-speech voice model specifically for him so that his wife could hear him speak in his original voice. Well, that was a great effort on their part. It was a lot of work. Now, 10 minutes. and you've got a model of someone speaking in their natural voice. So like I said, this is actually pretty interesting stuff. Anybody can do it. There's some great uses for it, but it does mean it's yet another way you and I need to continue to be skeptical. For updates, for related links, for the recordings that you've heard, for the chat transcripts that were used to generate those recordings, visit askleo.com/154821. I'm Leo Notenboom, the real one. Thanks for watching.